Oh my god, here we go. There we go. That's why all my videos look so dark. I was covering the light. What's up guys, Andrew Baena here, and it is that time of the week. It's time for this week's FAQ video. This is number 9, pretty self-explanatory. You ask questions, I answer them in a video form to make some great content for you guys who choose to watch this for some reason. Before we get started, as usual, I just want to say these questions are picked from my YouTube comments as well as my Discord server. The Discord server is linked in the description below, so if you want your question to be featured in a video like this, all you gotta do is ask your question in the comments below, or go to my Discord server, join it, go to the FAQ submissions channel and ask it there. Either way, I pick from both, it's up to you. Man, there's like the world's, I hit it! I fucking hit it, holy shit. There's the world's biggest fly that's been flying around my basement for like the past 3 days, and I don't have a fly swatter, so I just like have to wait until it dies, I guess. Although I did just hit it and it felt fucking disgusting. And I can hear it buzzing, but I don't see it now. Maybe it's dead. Anyways, moving on to the first question. First question comes from YouTube from John Deadbot. He says, if you had to choose one, Meshuggah or After the Burial, if too easy, what is your favorite song by both? Yeah, so I figured this is probably a pretty easy question, but my answer is obviously After the Burial, hence the refinished guitar that I had made as a tribute to Justin Lowe, who is one of my favorite guitarists of all time. So yeah, I would choose After the Burial over Meshuggah. Sorry, I know Meshuggah are like the godfathers of all things 8-string, and After the Burial definitely took a bunch of influence from Meshuggah, but After the Burial was the first band that I heard that used 8-strings, so to me, that's where all the 8-string neon green stuff started, so that's my choice. My favorite song by both bands, ooh, that's a tough one. For Meshuggah, I would say Dancers to a Discordant System, and for After the Burial, I would say Aspiration, I think. Next question comes from Discord from Low Budget Misha Mansour, and he asks Kemper or Axe FX 2. Yeah, so if you've been watching my recent videos, you might have noticed that I have an Axe FX 2 over here now. I want to give a shout out to my friend Paul Oz for letting me borrow this. Basically, I let him borrow my Kemper, he let me borrow his Axe FX to see, I don't know, if we liked each other's stuff. Yeah, I don't know, I'm liking the Axe FX quite a bit right now. I can't tell if I like it just because it's new and different, or if I actually like it more than the Kemper. I do definitely love that it's rack mounted because my desk has rack mounts and I just wasn't using them before. So the Kemper was sitting like all the way out here. So having the Axe FX freed up like a shit ton of desk space, which I do like. As for the tone, I don't know, I kind of got a bunch of comments on my most recent videos from you guys saying that you liked my tones a lot more, so those were Axe FX tones, so I don't know, maybe I do like the Axe FX more. I have it for a couple weeks, so I'll keep playing with it and see what I think. Yeah, so I can't really make a decisive decision at this point in time, but both are fucking great. Either way, you'll be happy if you buy either of them. I have no affiliation with either brand, so I don't care, buy whatever you want. Oh my god, it's back! Anyways, moving on to the next question from Timur Saifi on YouTube, and he asks, what tunings do you use on bass when you play an F sharp standard or lower? Yeah, so I picked this question because I think I've seen it pop up a few times on my videos. So this is the only bass I have. It's my Dingwall NG2 It is one of my most prized possessions because it's fucking beautiful, as you can see, that beautiful neon green swirl. Yeah, so it's tuned to drop A. So basically what I do for bass now is, since this is my only bass, I leave it in drop A or B standard depending on the rare times I do a standard tuning video. But yeah, I leave it in drop A, and then if a song is any lower than like G sharp or G maybe, then I just use my whammy 5 pedal with my whammy 5 drop tune pedal, and I just pitch shift my bass down or pitch shift it up if it's higher than B. Yeah, I don't know, that's pretty much what I do. For a while, I was only using this for drop A songs, basically, but I love this bass so much, and it sounds so good that I just like had to figure out a way to use it on more stuff, so pitch shifting was the way to go for me. Next up, we got Lane Justice on YouTube, and he says, hi Andrew, Metal Horns, what was the best / funnest concert that you have ever been to? Thanks for the great content, man. Well, thanks, I'm glad you appreciate my content, Lane. The best, what's the best concert I've ever been to? I think the best one of all time, I would have to go with System of a Down, because I don't usually go to like big shows like that, like, you know, basically stadium shows. Usually when I go to a show, it's like, you know, at a smaller venue, which I'm fine with because most of the bands I listen to just don't play stadiums, obviously. System of a Down is the only like huge metal band, or if you want to call them metal, I don't know. But they're the only band that I've ever seen in like an arena stadium setting with like full lighting production and everything, and that was fucking crazy. Also, I got in for free, so it was even better. Yeah, so that was the best show I've ever seen, like by far. I still think about that show a lot. As for the most fun show, for that part of the question, I'm gonna pick actually a show that I played because, I don't know, I always have more fun when I play shows than when I just watch them, usually. And that would be the Vancouver date of the tour that we did with Black Tongue back in 2014. I think that was the biggest show that we ever played locally, I'm pretty sure. It was just like absolutely packed, and that was the first and only time really that we went on tour. And yeah, it was just like a lot of emotions all at once. I was like leaving my hometown to go across Canada for 2 weeks with this band from the UK and this band from California called Lifeforms, and it was just like such a crazy experience, and I felt so good about how we played that night, and Black Tongue was so awesome to see live, and yeah, it was just a great show. Next up, we got a question from Meshuggah1987 on Discord, and he says, have you checked out Kevin Frazard's YouTube channel? If so, what's your favorite song of his? And I remember you saying in one of your other FAQ videos that you get tired/bored when listening to death metal. Does this still happen to you? So for your first question, Kevin Frazard's YouTube channel, I have not heard of this person before. I'm gonna give it a quick look. Oh, this guy, fuck, I have seen him before, I think. He's like this crazy bodybuilder. Let's just go with the one uploaded today ago. Oh man. Was it like weightlifting? Yeah, sorry, that is not for me personally. That's like, the video is pretty weird. No hate, but that's a little strange for me. Not my thing. As for your second part of your question regarding getting tired/bored when listening to death metal, that's not entirely what I meant. I don't like hate death metal or anything like that. All I meant was that I usually don't listen to death metal for like an extended period of time. Usually I'll only listen to like a couple of death metal songs, and then I'm kind of like done with death metal for the day, and then I'll move on to listening to something else. I don't know why. It's just like, maybe just because death metal is so like full on the whole time, I just like can't handle too much of it. Like even like Infinite Annihilator, which is not death metal, but you get the point. Stuff that's just like that crazy and that technical, I can only take so much of it before I just gotta switch to something more groovy and simple that I can just kind of like relax a little more to, even if it's still metal. Next up, we got a question from Dylan T on YouTube, and he asks, if Ernie Ball were to give you a custom-made guitar, would you go with a 7-string or would you go with a baritone guitar like Fluff did with his custom guitars? So I would go for a combination of the two. As far as I know, I don't think that Ernie Ball actually makes baritone 7-strings. I could be wrong about that, but that's what I would pick, is a baritone 7-string. So like 26.5 or 27-inch scale on a 7-string would be perfect for me. I don't even know what I would get them to do. Like I said in my past video, my personal favorite Ernie Ball models are the JP and the Majesty. I don't know if they would do like a custom version of those, since those are already signature models of John Petrucci. So I'm not really sure how that would work. I don't know if they do customs of those. I don't know. But in a perfect world, that's what I would do, is like, I don't know, like a 27-inch scale Majesty in like green sparkle or something like that. Next up, we got a question from Devin S on YouTube, and he asks, hey Andy, I hate being called Andy, how did you propose to your fiance? Yeah, so to propose to my fiance, basically what we did is we actually went to Seattle Comic Con, which is called Emerald City Comic Con. This would have been back in 2018. Yeah, so basically I had the wedding, or not the wedding ring, the engagement ring in my jacket pocket, and since it's in Seattle, that's like a 3-hour drive from here. So basically we drove from here to Seattle, and I had this thing in my pocket the whole time because I was like not 100% sure how exactly I was gonna do it, because I didn't know how long it was gonna take and so on and so forth. So the whole 3-hour drive, I'm like sitting there like just sweating my ass off, like trying to act normal, and Serena could totally tell that something was weird, but she didn't know what it was. She was just like, oh, okay, I guess he's just sick or something. So we ended up getting to Seattle like right around sunset time, which I was like, perfect. So then we were walking around downtown Seattle, and then there's this place called Pike Place Market, which is a pretty big tourist attraction, and then right beside it is this little like overlook thing where you can see like this big Ferris wheel, and then it looks onto the, I don't know if it's a river or a lake or whatever it is, but a body of water. And it was the sunset, and I was right there, and I was like, okay, well, this is as perfect of a time as I'm going to get. So we were looking out at the sunset, and I got down on one knee and proposed to her, and that's what I ended up doing. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, and clearly she was too. Next up, from DropG88 on YouTube, he asked, what is your opinion on Harley Benton guitars? I have never personally played or owned a Harley Benton guitar. I've definitely heard about them and seen them though. So from my understanding, it's basically Thoman's like in-house brand of guitar. I don't know, I mean, they seem pretty cool. I've seen lots of like YouTube demos where people seem pretty happy with it, and I think they're like pretty affordable. I think they're like $300 or $400 for something that's actually pretty decent, which is cool. And it looks like they actually take a lot of feedback from YouTubers that I watch. Like I know that Henning Pauly is like making a signature model with them, and I guess like Agufish is doing some modern versions of Harley Bentons. I'm not entirely sure what exactly that entails, but it's always cool to see a guitar brand taking input from YouTubers and people that kind of know their gear. So yeah, I don't know, maybe in the future I'll buy one. I actually, funny story, they had a B-stock sale on these like Fanfret 7 strings, so it was like $250 Canadian including shipping, so it's very cheap. And I actually had it in my shopping cart on their website because I was like, oh, that'd be cool to do like a cheap 7-string thing on my channel. I thought you guys might like it, but last minute, I don't know, I chickened out and I bailed and I canceled the order, but almost had it. So yeah, Harley Benton seems pretty cool. I haven't personally tried one. If you guys are interested in me demoing one, maybe in the future I'll get one. I don't know, let me know. Next up on Discord, we got 2 questions from Made Trap Sama. And they asked, do you like things like grind, grindcore, gore grind, hentai grind, etc., and gore noise? And also, what do you think of headless guitars? Yeah, I'm not into grind at all, I'm sorry, and all those other sub-genres of grind. Definitely heard it before, it's not my thing. I kind of like when like deathcore has grind influences, then that's like about as far as I go, but I can't listen to like actual grind music. It's just like totally not my thing. As for your question regarding headless guitars, I personally like them. I don't have any at the moment, but I do have one that should be arriving sometime this month, I'm gonna hope, from GOC Guitars. They did a run of like affordable 7-string Fanfret headless models recently. I'll put a picture of mine on the screen here, so I know what mine looks like. I'm just waiting for it to ship. So I should have that maybe sometime this month, and then yeah, I'll have another headless guitar. In the past I had a Kiesel Vader, and that was great too. I just kind of wasn't using it, so I ended up selling it. But yeah, headless guitars are great. I know some people don't like the look of headless guitars. I personally think they look awesome. But yeah, I don't think that, for me personally, like there's not really like that much of a benefit of having a headless guitar, so I guess I just typically gravitate towards traditional headed guitars. But yeah, no, I definitely don't have a problem with them, and I think they look great. Like Steinbergs look awesome. The new Mayones headless whatever Hydra, I think it's called, looks sweet. And yeah, I don't know, headless guitars are cool. Next up, we got a question from Trumpy Wumpy on Discord, and he asks, thoughts on the new Infant Annihilator song? The new Infant Annihilator song is amazing. I love it. The music video is just what I would expect from them. I don't know how they always manage to pretty much one-up themselves every time. The part in that video is absolutely disgusting, but you know, it's what I was expecting from them. Yeah, I'm excited for their new album. That new song was great. Next question comes from Zen on Discord, and he asks, who do you think is going to win, Stevie or Jared? Yeah, so Jared Dines posted a teaser picture recently of him with Stevie T's 20-string guitar. So obviously they're planning some Gent 2019 battle thing that's gonna happen between Jared's 18-string and Stevie's 20-string. I don't know what they're planning, but I'm sure that it's going to be an awesome video. I don't know if they're like going to meet up in person or what's going to happen, but yeah, no, it's cool. I think that the video's going to be sweet. As for who's going to win, I mean, I have no idea. I mean, Stevie's got more strings, but Jared usually plays in more of a genty style than Stevie, so I don't know, it's a pretty even match in my opinion. Next question comes from Landon Rocker on YouTube, and he asks, are you going to NAMM next year? Yes, I am definitely going to NAMM next year. My birthday was last month, and for a birthday present I got some cash that I put towards my savings towards NAMM, so to cover like flights and hotels and shit like that. So yes, definitely going to Nam for sure, 100%. Next question comes from Decaf Iced Tea on Discord, and they ask thoughts on the new Northlane. I literally just finished I just finished listening to the new Northlane album like right before doing this video. I think it's awesome. At first I wasn't quite sure if I would like it or not because it is very different than their old stuff. But it's actually pretty cool. It's got a lot of like nu metal influences clearly, which I don't think is a bad thing because I mean I grew up on nu metal and I like Northlane, so it's kind of like a good combination of the two. I've only heard the album once, but yeah, so far I'm really liking it. There's a couple songs that are like a little outside of what I like, but for the overall feel of the album, I thought it was pretty awesome. Next question comes from Ivan Fisson, and he says, hello Andrew, do you change strings before each video? I've mentioned that no one says about that, just typical fresh strings before record, blah blah blah, thanks. No, I definitely do not put new strings on before each video. Since I have like 12 guitars, I don't use like one guitar all the time, so the strings on my guitars usually last quite a while. It's basically I just do it by feel. If I'm playing and the strings feel gross or if they don't sound as bright, I'll just change them. I don't know. With time, you kind of just can tell when strings are dead and when they're not. So it's basically just more of a feel thing for me. I definitely don't do it before every video because that would be crazy and just way too much work for no reason. Next question comes from Adam Good. He says, any funny Travis stories you can tell us? He's so funny. Yeah, so Travis is our drummer. He is this absolutely crazy fucking kid who scoots around and causes mischief while we were playing. I have lots of stories about Travis. Some of them are too embarrassing to tell you guys, but one of the most recent ones that comes to mind, I think I've already told you guys maybe, but basically we played the show at a local place called Pub 340 or something like that, and we played with this band called Mother Sound, so we played like second and then Mother Sound was playing. While they were playing, they're like, yo, this is our last song. So I was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna go grab my car so I can start loading up. So I leave the venue, get my car, come back to the venue. When I'm walking up towards the venue, I just hear like not really music anymore, just the vocals being like, yo, what the fuck, is that kid okay? Oh my god, what happened? So I was like, that's weird. And then I'm walking towards the venue and I just see our idiot drummer like fall out of the front door and like just land on the street, and I was just like, what the fuck just happened? So I ran up to him, I'm like, dude, like what are you doing? And he like stands up and he's like holding his head and he goes like this and his hands are like covered in blood. And I was like, holy shit. And he's like, oh man, I tried to do a backflip off the stage and I landed on my head. So this fucking kid, man, they're going their last song and there's only like 30 people there, mind you. So he's on the stage, which is like maybe this high, probably not even, does a backflip, backflips onto another person and then falls and lands on his head, like splits his head open, it's bleeding everywhere. He obviously has a concussion. So for like half an hour, we're trying to convince him like, dude, we need to take you to the hospital. And he keeps being like, no man, fuck the hospital. I'm good, I'm gonna drive home, I'll be fine, I'll be fine, I'll be fine. And it takes us like so long to be like, dude, you are not driving, like you are very obviously concussed and very obviously are not thinking straight. So it ended up being Johnny had to drive him to the hospital and like stay with him at the hospital till like 2 in the morning. And he had to get, I can't remember if he had to get stitches, but yeah, it was an interesting night to say the least. Alright guys, so that'll do it for this week's FAQ. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Once again, leave your questions below in the comments or on my Discord server. I want to give a shout out to all my Patreons at the screen at this point in time, either there or there. I can never remember where I put it. But regardless, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it and it means a lot to me. If you're interested in becoming a Patreon member, I would really appreciate that. You can do so in the link in the description as well. That's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching and I'll see you guys next time.